Giorgio by Moroder, a blend of spoken word and music from the synth maestro and electro disco pioneer Giorgio Moroder and the boys who dress as robots, Daft Punk. The track is from their excellent new album, Random Access Memories. The Italian-born musician composed the Oscar-winning score to the film Midnight Express, soundtracks for American Gigolo, Flashdance, Top Gun and Scarface, as well as creating massive pop and disco hits like the Donna Summer classic, I Feel Love, widely acknowledged as a template for electronic dance music. Moroder rarely gives interviews, but he agreed to speak to the BBC's John Wilson. And if you come with me now to our music room, he's talking about how back in the 1970s, he approached creating a sound of the future.
I wanted to have a future kind of a sound. And I remember I said the only way to do it is with a synthesizer. And I said to myself, I want to do the whole song, except the voice, of course, with synthesizers. And that was the big Moog, and I started with the bass line. Then, using the white noise of the Moog, I created the hi-hat, the snare, some percussion stuff, and then I added some chords, synthesized chords, and that was the first all synthesizer recording. The only live band was the kick, the drum beat, because I couldn't find a strong and punchy enough sound on the synthesizer.
But it's interesting, isn't it, that you're making an album with Donna Summer and evoking different musical sounds to fit different eras, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and here is a song which you wanted to make it sound like the future. And that's what you were doing, and in effect, that's what you did with that song. You invented the future of music.
In fact, it's interesting because I was thinking, what could I do? At the beginning, I didn't really think I could do it with a synthesizer. So I was watching the movie Star Wars, and there is one scene in the cantina where all the guys, the monsters and the aliens all
the
sing.
Monsters Bar, yes.
Yeah, and I thought, no, that doesn't sound like the future. I mean, it was kind of interesting, but I thought, no. It has to be something much more mechanical. And that was the idea, to use the synthesizer and especially sync it up so it's all perfectly synced.
Were you already working on soundtracks? Was that an ambition of yours, or did it lead to the big screen?
That was the reason Alan Parker called me. He loved I Feel Love. And there is one scene in the movie Midnight Express. Alan said, okay, give me something like I Feel Love, that feel in that scene when he runs away, to give the feel, okay, he's running away and he's probably going to be free and to not go to a jail in Turkey. So that was the only requirement of the director, and that came out as The Chase, the song The Chase.
And did you then get the calls from other directors, film producers saying, we want some of that in our film? You worked on Flashdance, but you also did American Gigolo, and that has that sort of American or that Californian sheen to it, that film, which suggests in a way your music.
You know, having won the Oscar, you think, okay, they are taking me because that's what I'm good for. So I did about 3-4 movies like Cat People and Scarface with similar sounds. And then, strictly musically, maybe Take My Breath Away is my best song.
And getting back to I Feel Love, there's a fantastic story that David Bowie told once about Brian Eno running into the studio in Berlin where they were recording one of their Berlin albums, probably Low. And Eno apparently said, I have heard the future. This record will change everything in dance music. Were you aware of what you had done, of the impact that sound of that record would have?
I probably was one of the few who really believed in it. I remember Neil Bogart, the head of Casablanca, said, well, yeah, it's good, but to make it really commercial, you should remix it. He was okay. He was not enthusiastic, although he was a great A&R guy. So I did a remix, and I must say it became out better, because now suddenly I thought, wait, this is quite interesting. So I mixed it again. Yeah. And at that time I thought it was the only electronic song, but I don't think I thought, wow, this is going to be around for quite some time.
Composer, synth music maestro and electro disco pioneer Giorgio Moroder talking to the BBC's John Wilson. Two things. Really? Musically Take My Breath Away is his best song? What do you think? Tweet at BBC Arts Hour or email theartshour@bbc.co.uk. And Giorgio, hostesses do need to know if their dinner guests have special food requirements before they arrive. Giorgio came to my house for dinner when I lived in Los Angeles, and I'd slaved over a hot stove for 2 days to make a delicious feast. He turned up and was on some can't eat this, can't eat that weight loss plan. So I think I just gave him some lettuce. It's worked, Giorgio. Thank you for your company on this week's Arts Hour, and don't forget you can be in touch with me and the show via Twitter at BBC Arts Hour. Also, details and information about this week's show are on the website bbcworldservice.com/artshour, and you'll find links to full versions of the interviews and stories that we featured today. For now, from me, Nikki Beattie, my producer Simon Pitts, and mixmaster Paul Thomas at 3 Street Media, see you next week.